Hi guys, this is B-Dogs Maths yet again, and welcome to primary parent video 2, which is going to be about division. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. I've had a lot of good comments about the multiplication one, so I'm going to go through division. You'll be glad to know that division hasn't changed really since we did it. The problem why it's always been so difficult is actually because we don't really know our times tables well enough, and without knowing times tables, division becomes difficult. So again, I'll point you back to know your times tables video. Make sure your son, daughter, godson, goddaughter, niece, nephew, whatever, make sure they really know their times tables, know the bond between them. Okay, so for this activity, for this lesson, I'm going to use just 2 sets of times tables today. I'm going to use the 6 times table because I think that's really important. So if you can spend some time, pause me soon and write down the 6 times table. 1 times 6 equals 6, and all the way down to 10 times 6, say. And then I'm also going to do the 19 times table. You're not meant to know the 19 times table, but you are meant to be able to add 19 quite quickly. I'll go through that quickly on here when I do it, so you don't need to write that down. But when I do my addition one, we'll discuss about mentally adding double-digit numbers and stuff. Alright, so division. Okay, so pause me, get your 6 times table written down if you don't already know it, and prepare to use that. Okay, cool. Hey, so here we go then. So we're starting off with what's called short division. Let me write that down. Short division. Also, some people call it the bus stop method. And this is used when you're dividing by anything that's in our times tables that we should know. So anything up to 12 times 12, really, even up to the 12 times table, we can use this method to sort out. Anything above that, then we might use long division, which is what I'll come to next. But short division, for anything that is from the 1 times table, which is easy obviously, up to the 12 times table. Okay, so that's when we use these things. Alright, and the one I want to look at today is, the first one I'm going to do actually, is 336 divided by 6. Okay, so I'm dividing by a number of the times tables I should know, and you've already know this before anyway, we discussed it. And the key here is to appreciate the fact that if I want to talk about the bus stop, the reason why it was called a bus stop is because you would first draw the shelter of the bus stop, and you would state that whatever number you say first gets to the bus stop first and would be under the shelter. So the first thing you say is 336, so 336, and leave space in between the digits. That's going to help you, and have a 6 on the outside. 336 divided by 6. Divide by 6 means what times table best fits my number. So I need to look at this situation. I've got a 3 to deal with, and I've got a 6 to divide into it. So what I'm trying to say to myself is I've got some number times by 6 equals, and I'm aiming to equal 3. Now obviously if I use 1 times 6 in here, that's not going to work. Yeah, 1 will make 1 times 6 equals 6. That's bigger than what I've got. I've only got 3 to work with. So the answer unfortunately is 0 times 6. 0 times 6 equals 3, equals 0, which is less than 3. 1 times 6 makes it bigger, so I can't use that. I can't go bigger than my target number. So therefore 0 has to go above the 3 that I'm using there. If I look at 0 times 6, that equals nothing. So that 0 means I've used none of that 3. So all those 3, my target number, will move in front of my next one to create a number called 33. So my next question that I ask in my head, and this is all going on in my head here, is I want to say, well, something times by 6, and my target number is 33. That's my target number. I know 4 times 6 is 24. I know 5 times 6 is 30. I know 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6 is too big, so I have to use the 1 underneath, which is 5 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. I'll write that down there, 30. So I've used 5, but I've used up 30 of that 33, leaving 3 left over, and that 3 goes here. So 6 into 36, again, I'm looking for a number, times by 6, which will give me my target number of 36. And I know that, it's 6 times 6. So that goes there. So the answer to my question, therefore, 336 divided by 6 equals 56. And that's how that's worked. Okay, so have a look at that again in your own time. Okay, so hopefully you've had a look at that in your own time. You take your time to do it again. Feel free to just pick another number that's in a 6 times table, use a calculator to work it out, and have another go. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to test myself by picking a slightly longer question. I'm going to again my bus stop, and again I asked the question, the first question which I asked here, how many 6's go into 3? 0 times 6 is what I'll have to use with a target number of 3, because 1 times 6 is too big. So 0 times 6 is what I'll use. 0 times 6 is 0. I have all 3 left over, so they go in front of the 1, making it 31. So my next target number is 31. I'm multiplying by 6. I can't use 6 times 6 because that's 36, so I'll use 5 times 6. So the 5 goes there. So it's very similar to what I've started off with here. 5 times 6 is 30. I have 1 left over, so that 1 goes here. 6's, my target number is 19. Hopefully, I'm not going to write it down, but let's see if you get it right. 6's, targeting 19, the closest I can get is 18, which is 3 times 6. That leaves 1 left over. Targeting 12 is easy, that's 2 times 6. So it's all about knowing what your target number is and not going over it, but getting as close as possible to it. And if you can keep that method in mind, then that's going to help you for long division. So have your target number, use the times tables that you know to find the closest number to that target number, but not over it. You can't exceed it, you can't go above it. Okay, so that short division hasn't changed. What is the problem is that we have to know our times tables very well to see how we can get to these target numbers. So if that's your problem, know your times tables. Okay, I'll come back to you with long division. Okay then folks, this is a difficult one then now. This is long division. Okay, this is really a practice situation now. I'm going to look at 1007 divided by 19 because this is a really difficult one to do. I do something called select, subtract, and then submerge. Those are the things that I do in my head which remind me about how to solve this problem. So the 3 S's: select, do a subtraction, and then submerge. And I keep repeating that process. And hopefully you'll see that somewhere soon. I'll do a couple of examples of this because I think this is difficult. Because it's lots of complex steps. So then, first thing I need to do is a 19 times table. I'm going to just do the first few for me. I did ask you to be able to do this yourselves. I'm not going to spend time going over how to do this, adding 19 as you go along. There's the first 5. You should really go down to 9 times. But I've done the first 5 so you can see them. I then write my sum down, which is how many 19s successfully manage in 1007. And this is called long division in its entirety. So the first thing I do is I select, well, I could really put 0 at the top here because 0 times 9 is 0. So I look at my numbers, I'm dealing with the number 1 and I go, right, okay, well, hold on a minute. 0 is the only number that's lower than 1, so I'm going to use 0. So I use 0 times 19. So I select 0. Same as for short division. 0 times by 19 is 0. You do the multiplication and you write the answer underneath the column that you're working in. And then you underline that and do a takeaway. So what I've done is I've selected my times table. 0 times 19 equals 0. I'm then going to do a subtraction in that column. So 1 take away 0 is 1. So there's my select, there's my subtract. Next I'm going to do is submerge. I'm going to bring the next digit along. I'm going to drop that next to this one here. So now I'm dealing with the number 10. Very similar to putting the remainder that you had in there up here. But as the numbers get larger and more complicated, putting it up in here becomes messy. So to learn this is probably the way you should be going about it, especially at year 5, year 6. You want to be looking at developing this skill. Those of you doing GCSE maths and thinking about doing A-level maths, you definitely need to know this, because when you're doing polynomial division, you'll need to be able to do it there. So don't think of this skill being a one-off thing, especially if you're looking to go on to do A-level maths in the future. Practice and get it done now. So I've got the number 10 to deal with. Unfortunately, 10 is still smaller than what I've got to play with here. So I still select 0 as my choice. And again, I do 0 times 19, which is 0. So underneath this choice of 10, I'll put the number 0 down. Then I do a subtraction. So I selected, I'm doing a subtraction. 10 take away nothing is still 10. And then I submerge the next digit to come next to what I'm doing. Select, subtract, submerge. Now I've got a number that is actually decent. It's actually very good. I can use some of these. 100. I could use 76, but I could also use 95. The one after 95 will definitely be bigger than 100. What will it be? Let's have a look. 95, add 20, and then take away 1 gives me 114. So that is definitely above 100. So I use 95. So my choice of use is 95, and that's the selection I'm going to do. So I'm going to write that selection here, 95. 95 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots of 19. So that's what number goes up to here, 5 lots of 19, which we know is 95. So there's my selection. There's my selection. And now I do my subtraction. 100 take away 95 equals 5. After I do my subtraction, what do I do next? Oh, I do a submerge. Submerge my 7 to there, end it with 57. If I select from 57, because it works, that will give me 1, 2, 3 lots of 19. 57 take 57 is take away 57 is 0. So I've got to the end. Whee! And my answer to my question is 53. Therefore, 1007 divided by 19 equals 53. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. I want you to rewind this tape, look at that again, see how you get on. Once you've done that, here is your next question that I'd like you to try to do, still using the 19 times table, but we're going to have now 8037 divided by 19. As you know, it's cooking time in the house, so I'm going to go and have something to eat. I'm going to leave that with you, have a go, and then come back to me once you've had a go. And if you've stuck, don't panic. Let's see how far you've got. Back in a minute. Guys, I'm about to take off, so I'll just like to let you know that the videos have to go into 2 parts. So the answer to this problem is going to be on the next part. So see you in part 2. Cheers. See you in a bit.